The narrator has entered into the class, and now suddenly he observes what his teacher is wearing. What does he see? It was all quite strange. What was the strange thing? The teacher was wearing very impressive clothes. He was wearing a beautiful coat, frilled shirt, embroidered hat, the little black silk cap, and this is to wear on the days of inspection or prize distribution days. The little black silk cap, all embroidered, that he never wore except on inspection and prize days. Besides, what does besides mean? Besides means in addition to. Moreover, we can compare besides with beside. Beside, by the side of, whereas besides means in addition to. Besides, the whole school seemed so strange and solemn. He had just entered into the school. He had sneaked into the class. He felt very embarrassed while entering into the class. The teacher was very kind to him, and everything appeared to be quite strange. The whole atmosphere of the school appeared to be quite unusual. Everybody was serious. What does solemn mean? Solemn is serious. Solemn occasion. The whole atmosphere was solemn there. People were quite serious. Children were serious. But the thing that surprised me most was to see on the back benches that were always empty, the village people sitting quietly like ourselves. Old Hauser with his three-cornered hat, the former mayor, the former postmaster, and several others besides. What was very surprising thing there? There on the back benches, which quite often used to be empty, so nobody used to prefer to sit on the back benches. But today, on those back benches, the elderly villagers were sitting there, and they were all quiet. There was a Hauser, an elderly person. He was wearing three-cornered hat. Then there was former mayor, an important person of the city. Besides him, there was retired postmaster, and there were many prominent persons of that particular town were present there, sitting there on the back benches. And those who were there in the class, everybody appeared to be very sad. Everybody looked sad. And this old Hauser had brought an old primer, thumbed at the edges, and he held it open on his knees with his great spectacles lying across the pages. Now this primer, this basic reader, which old Hauser had brought, it was quite old. Probably when he was going to the primary school, probably he had purchased at that time. It was thumbed at the edges. It was damaged. It was worn out at the border, at the edges. And he kept it open there on his knees. And his spectacles were there across the pages. So very surprising for him, the village elders sitting there on the back benches, and the teacher wearing a very good attire, frilled shirt, beautiful coat, and embroidered cap. The narrator had entered into the school. He found the whole atmosphere quite strange. The teacher wearing beautiful attire, the village elders sitting on the back benches. Just he was wondering about why all this strange thing, why the day was very unusual, why the village elders were there in the classroom, and why the teacher was wearing such kind of dress. Suddenly, the French teacher young Hamel mounted his chair. Usually you sit on the chair, but here he has climbed the chair. He is standing on the chair, and in the same grave and gentle tone which he had used to me, he said, "My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you." Now the way he had shown him the kindness when he had entered into the classroom, usually he used to be very strict, and he expected him to scold him because already he was late. But the kind of tone that was there, gentle one, with the same gentle tone, but at the same time very serious. He said, "My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. The new master comes tomorrow. This is your last French lesson. I want you to be very attentive." Now probably he understood why there was a huge crowd. The order has come from Berlin. Berlin is the capital of Germany. The order has come from Berlin, an important city during that time, and today also it's a very important city. And the order has come from Berlin. And what was the order? That only German will be taught there in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. Remember, Alsace and Lorraine were part of France. But due to Franco-Prussian War, it has gone into the clutches of Prussia. And Prussian government has come out with an order that only German would be taught there in the French-speaking peoples, Alsace and Lorraine. The new master, the new German master, was supposed to come next day. And here he says, it's going to be the last French lesson. I hope you understood why the title Last Lesson. Remember, all those who are living there in Alsace and Lorraine, they are all French-speaking people. But now here, German is imposed upon them. And therefore, this French teacher tells, it's going to be the last lesson. And I want each one of you to pay attention. Because here onwards, it's going to be German which is going to be taught. What a thunderclap these words were to me. It was like a thunder. It was a big shock. The narrator was stunned. This boy was very young. It was a big shock for him. Oh, the riches, oh, all those bad things. That was what they had put up at the town hall. Now he realized, what was the notice? What was there in the notice board? What was displayed there? Now he came to know, the order has come that only German would be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. Put up display. My last French lesson. The narrator now is under shock and suddenly feels it's going to be his last lesson. Why? Till this time he has not paid attention. Now suddenly he realizes its importance. I hardly knew how to write. It's his own mother tongue, but hardly he knows how to write. I should never learn anymore. No more I'll get the chance to learn that language. It's going to be German. These are French people, but now German is going to be taught to them. Our culture is all associated with the language. And here, this small child is stunned. I must stop there. Then, is it that I have to stop my learning of French? Then and there itself, oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons. Suddenly starts repenting. Suddenly he starts regretting over it, that he has not paid attention till this time. Because what he did, he went on bunking the classes, for seeking birds' eggs, looking for birds' eggs, going in the lap of the nature, looking for birds' eggs, going sliding on the Sar. Sar is river in France, and going sliding there, playing there on the banks of the river. My books, all French ones, that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so heavy to carry, my grammar and my history of the saints, my old friends, now that I couldn't give up. Till this time, these all books appear to be quite problematic. They were nuisance to him. They were very heavy to carry. His grammar book, history of the saints, and now suddenly realizing that they are going to be old friends now. Now he has to give up. This teacher, Hamel too, the idea that he was going away, and the teacher, who appeared to be quite strange, that Hamel now is going to leave. It was a big shock for him. I should never see him again. I'm not going to meet him again. Made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was, how strange he was. He forgot about all that. Suddenly started feeling that he was really a good teacher. Poor man. He started feeling pity on him. It was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes, in order to honor. Probably it was the last day for him, and that is the reason why he was wearing fine clothes. Now, the narrator has realized why he was wearing such dress. The narrator now realizes why the village elders were sitting there on the back benches. Why the old men of the village were sitting there in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry too that they had not gone to school more. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service and of showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more. First of all, they felt very sorry. They regretted that they had not learnt enough. They had not gone to school more. Probably they did not attain the classes more. They had not acquired the language skills which was required. And they wanted to express their gratitude to the teacher who had put up 40 years of dedicated service. It was not only to express the gratitude, but it was to show their respect to their country. It was to express their love for their mother tongue. And the country which was theirs no more. It was occupied by Persians. Owing to treaty, Alsace and Lorraine became the parts of Persia, and only German was supposed to be taught in these two regions. When he was thinking about these village elders sitting there, suddenly he heard his name was called out. While I was thinking of all this, I heard my name called. And why his name was called out? Because it was his turn to recite. And he wanted to bunk the class. He was not interested to attend the class because he was afraid that the teacher would ask him the questions on participles. What would I not have given to be able to say that dreadful rule for the participle all through, very loud and clear, without one mistake. He wanted to tell the rules, which were very frightening, of the participles, very loud, clear, without any mistake. But it's not possible all of a sudden. He was very keen to learn all the rules because he realized now that German was going to be imposed. But what has happened? But I got mixed up on the first words and stood there, holding on to my desk, my heart beating and not daring to look up. He had not studied. He didn't know anything about participles, and as a result, he got mixed up. He was very much confused. He stood there, keeping quiet. His heart was beating. He did not have daring to look up to his teacher, M. Hamel. And at that time, he hears M. Hamel saying him, "I won't scold you, little Franz." Today, young Hamel was different. He was very kind. His tone was very gentle. And it was going to be his last lesson. "I won't scold you, little Franz. You must feel bad enough. You must feel bad. You must feel bad because you are not acquired the language. And tomorrow onwards, it's going to be German which is going to be taught." See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves, "Bah, I have plenty of time, I will learn it tomorrow." We keep on postponing the things. We feel that we have got sufficient time to acquire language skills. But what has happened today? And he tells them to think about all that. Now you see where we have come out. What has happened? We have lost part of the France to Persians. And that's the great trouble with Alsace. That's the great trouble. People of Alsace have not realized about it. The importance of language he wants to emphasize. He wants to highlight that. She puts off learning till tomorrow. Put up means display. Put off means postpone. She puts off. The people of Alsace keep on putting off, keep on postponing learning till tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. And it all happens. We keep on postponing the things. Now those fellows out there will have the right to say to you. And who are those fellows out there? They are the Germans. They are the Persians. And those people who are there outside, they will start ridiculing you. How is it? You pretend to be Frenchmen, but you don't know your own language? And yet, You can neither speak nor write your own language. And these people will tell you about all this. Then you can neither speak nor write your own language. But you are not the worst, poor little friends. You are not the one who has to be blamed. You are not the one who is the worst. We are all a great deal to reproach ourselves with. We are also responsible for it. Reproach means responsible. And a great deal, to great amount. We are all responsible. We are all to be blamed for all that.